What Islam means to me is a life of unity, integrity, wholeness. Of course, there's basic tenets of Islam, and they're the same for any Muslim. Belief in one God, belief that Muhammad is God's messenger, belief in prayer, belief in charity, belief in fasting at Ramadan. I use my faith to inform me and to make me be a better human being. God is the most merciful and the most generous, and therefore, if I'm following that God, I should reflect these qualities. So in my individual decision making, I ask myself, is it fair to everybody concerned? I ask myself, does it reflect a spirit of generosity and inclusion? I ask myself, does it reflect selfishness or greed? And these are the kind of things I use to make decisions, and that's how I make the micro decision. The other ways my faith affects me is that I'm associated with being one of two Muslims in the U.S. Congress and being the first one. So, that means that for people who have hostility towards people who are Muslim just because they're Muslim, I get a lot of that flack and a lot of that hostility. And then, of course, some people want to build bridges, so then people reach out for me in that way. And then, of course, there's the Muslim world, which includes Americans and others. And sometimes, they give me way more credit than I deserve because, of course, I'm not a religious figure. I've never given a sermon at a Friday prayer, never led a public congregational prayer, and the only time I've ever led anyone in prayer is my own family. And I like keeping it that way because I don't want to be a religious figure. There are people who know the religion much better than me, way more qualified than me. I do politics, they do religion, and I'll just be one of the members of the congregation. My imam recognizes that I'm the guy who's the politician. He never has walked up to me and said, you need to vote this way on this, you need to vote this way on that. I think he recognizes that his job in my life is to help give me spiritual guidance. And so, yeah, I've gone to him, but usually his message is, tell the truth, no matter, even if it costs you, be kind, pray, if you don't know what to do, seek the guidance of the divine, of God. That kind of advice is very helpful to me, but I do respect the fact that, there's no religious leader telling me what to do when it comes to pushing red or green or what bill to introduce. We do respect our different roles. But yeah, I call upon him, and he's a friend, and it's been helpful because when you're in Washington and you got people, you got all these invectives flying around, speeches being given that are inflammatory and often not helpful. You're in that mix. You got to step out of that mix, and you got to talk to somebody who can help give you some perspective on the real values that matter: truth, honesty, compassion. And so yeah, I get myself to the masjid whenever I'm in town, and I go to Friday prayer whenever I'm in Washington, because it renews me and really helps remind me what I really should keep my mind and focus on.